Hello, friends. Welcome back to another session. In the last live session of Java questions for interview, we stopped in between. So this is the continuation of this the previous session, and we will learn some more questions about Java that will generally asked in the interview. So let me present my screen and we will start. Think okay. Can't we change this layout? Let's okay, fine. Just give me 1 minute. I'm just checking whether it is properly presenting or. Hmm. Okay. So yeah. So in the last session we were at question number 17. So why method name is main? Why it is a public? Why it's static? Why return type is void? So we have already discussed. Next, explain about the main method in Java. So, main method is, you can say that it's a starting point of your application. If someone say what is main method in Java, it's a starting point of Java application. Okay, and this is the signature: public, static, void, main, string arguments, string array as an argument. Okay, what is constructor? What is constructor in Java? Constructor is used to create the object, or you can say that constructor is a special method. It's a special method that is used to initialize the object. Creating the object is nothing but initializing the object only. Okay, fine. We use constructors to initialize the variables in a class when an object is created. As and when an object is created and initialized automatically with the help of constructor in Java. We have two types of constructor. Uh, One is a default constructor without having any parameter, and another one a constructor with the parameters. And constructor do not have a return type. Constructor will have a same name as a class name. Okay, yes, fine. What is difference between length and a length method in Java? See, length. This length is a variable inside your array object. It will tell how many elements are there in your array. But a length is a method. This is a variable. The first one that currently what I'm selecting, this is a variable, and this is a method, because this is a calling method. See, this is the calling statement of a method. This is a calling statement of method. Okay, so length in a string class, actually this length is in a string class, a method which is used to return the number of character available in a string. But length instance variable in an array which will return the number of values or number of elements or number of objects available in array. Okay, what is ASCII code? What is ASCII code? ASCII stands for American Standard Code for Information Exchange. That is called ASCII character, and this length is from 0 to 255, and we cannot add more character to ASCII character. ASCII character simply supports only English programming language. And if we see C language, we can write C language only in English. We cannot write in other language because it use ASCII code. What is Unicode? Universal code. Unicode is it something like other than English character. If you want to represent any character, how can you do it? Is it possible? Yes, in Java it is possible because of ASCII, because of Unicode. Unicode is a character set developed by Unicode con- Consortium to support all language in world. Java supports Unicode value. Unicode characters were represented by 60 bits, means 2 bytes, and its character range from 0 to 65 uh, 535. Java use ASCII code for all input element except for string identifier and a comment. If if we want to use Telugu, we can use Telugu character for identifier. We can enter comments in Telugu also, or any other programming, any other language you want to do, you can do it. Like in Hindi, Sanskrit, it's up to you. Okay, a difference between character constant and string constant. See, what is constant? Constant value will not change. Character constant enclosed in a single quotas. See, single quotes like this is a, it will be always in a single quotes. Double quotes means it is a string constant. That's it. Okay. Next, what are constants and how to create constant in Java? See, you have to use final keyword. Final keyword has to be used. Constants are constants are fixed value that will not change over the times. Not, it will not change at all. Once the value is initialized, it will be kept as a same. That is what called constants. And constants are fixed value whose value cannot be changed during the execution of program. We create constants in Java using final keyword. Okay, difference between this and this operator. So two greater symbol is a right shift operator. All of the bits in a value to write to specified number of a time. Suppose int a is equal to 50. Now if I will say a is equal to a, right shift operator, right shift by 3, so 3 bit it will right shift. The above line of code move 3 characters right. That's it. 3 bits it will do. Next, and this 3 unsigned shift operator, that is unsigned shift operator used to shift right, the place which were vacated by shift are filled with zeros. Filled with zeros. Unsigned will be 0. Okay. but here they will be shifted and will add over and over and over. Okay, next, core Java interview questions on coding standards. Some of the there in the coding standards. Explain Java coding standard for class and Java coding conventions for class. Suppose class name should be in uppercase. Class name should be in uppercase. Like not whole. The first character should be in uppercase. And if it's a multiple name or multiple combination of multiple words, then each word first character should be in uppercase. So class name should start with uppercase letter. Class name should be a noun. It should not be verb or something like that. It should be noun only. If class name is of a multiple word, then the first letter or character of must be capital. Inner word must be capital. For example, employee detail, array list, tree set, has set. This standard who provided this standard? Sun Microsystem has provided some coding standard or Java coding convention. It recommended highly to follow Java coding standards. Okay. Explain Java coding standard for interface. Same only. Interface should start with uppercase letter only. Interface name should be an adjective. That is a different. But class name is a noun. You can see class name is a noun. But name should be adjective. Suppose comparable, comparator, runnable, serializable, so something like that. Okay. Yes. Fine. Examples are runnable, serializable, marker, clonable, externalizable, comparable, comparator, something like that. Okay, fine. Explain Java coding standard for method. So, what is the method name should be start with lowercase. If more than one word is there, then each word first character should be in uppercase, and it should be a verb. It should not be a noun. It should not be adjective. It should be a verb. If method contain multiple word, every inner word should start with uppercase letter, like to string, get name, get salary, get status, something like that. Okay. Method name must be combination of verb and noun. It can be verb or one verb and a noun, like get what? First name is a noun. Get is a verb. Something like that. Okay. Get car name. Get car number. Something like that. Okay. The coding standard for variables. What is the coding standards for variable? Variable name should start with a small letter, and each word should, the first character should be in uppercase, the same, and it should be short, meaningful name, and names are recommended. Like sometimes the names are huge, it will big. In that case, what you should do? You should always keep it short. You should always keep it short. Okay, fine. If there are multiple word, every inner word should start with uppercase. String value, emp name, emp salary, something like that. Okay. Explain Java coding standard for constants. Now you know what is constant. Constant is another variable, but whose value will not change. So constant contains only uppercase correct letter. You keep always in mind it should be in uppercase. If constant name is a combination of two words or more words, then that should be separated by underscore. Okay. Constant names are usually nouns only. Example like max value, min value, max priority, min priority, something like that. Difference between overriding and overloading in Java we have already discussed. In overriding, method name must be same overriding, but in overloading, method name must be same. Overriding, method name must be same. Overloading, method name must be same. Okay. Argument list must be same because it's overriding. Overriding is happening from the superclass. So signature should be same as it is, but in case of overloading, the the parameters type or order or number, any one of three must be different. Okay, fine. Argument list must be different, at least order of argument. Okay. A return type can be same, or we can return a convenient type from 1.5. Convenient types are allowed. Convenient type. Okay. Return type can be different in overloading. Okay. We can increase the level of checked exception. No restriction for checked exception. In overloading, different exception can be thrown. Okay. A method can only be override in a subclass, but it will happen in inheritance relationship, superclass and subclass. Private static and final variable cannot be overridden. Private static and final variable can be overloaded because it will use from that class. It depends what is the reference variable you are using. Okay. In overriding, which method is called is decided at runtime based on the type of reference, object reference. Like method invocation or method calling will be done from the reference of object. Like what is the object, it will be based on that object it will call. Okay, but here in overloading is also known as the compile time in overloading, which method to call is decided at compile time only, it will be fixed. This is called runtime polymorphism. Overriding means runtime polymorphism. Overloading means compile time polymorphism. Okay. What is the relationship? is the relationship is the relationship is also known as an inheritance. This is an inheritance. Suppose uh, student is a person. Yes, student is a person, definitely. Employee is a person. Yes, employee is a person. So in similar way, if I say uh, Hero Honda is a bike, mobile phone is a device. So something like that is a relationship. The just inheritance relationship. Is a relationship is also known as inheritance. We can implement is a relationship or inheritance. We can implement is a relationship or inheritance in using extend keyword or implement keyword also. The advantage of inheritance or is a relationship is reusability of code instead of duplicating the code. Yes. Like motorcycle is a vehicle. Yes. Motorcycle is a vehicle. Person is a student. Employee is a student. Car is a vehicle. Both car and motorcycle extend vehicle. Car and motorcycle both extend vehicle. Because car is also a vehicle, motorcycle is also a vehicle. Has a relationship is also known as composition or aggregation. As an inheritance, we have extended keyword. We do not have any kind of implementation. Has a relationship in Java, the main advantage of has a relationship is a code reusability. Okay, so difference between is a relationship and has a relationship. I can say that student person has address. Person has address. Fan has a motor. Mobile phone has a sim. Something like that. Okay. So is a relationship has a relationship. Is a relationship is known as inheritance. Has a relationship is not known as a combination or aggregation. For is a relationship we use extend keyword. Has a relationship we can use new keyword. Okay. Car is a vehicle. Car has an engine. Car has an engine. We cannot say car is an engine. Car has an engine. Yes. The main advantage of inheritance reusability code. The main is has a relationship is a reusability of code. Okay. Reusability of code. Next, explain about instance of operator. What is the meaning of instance of operator? Instance of operator is used to check that if any reference variable is of a particular type or not. Suppose one reference variable a, is that reference variable a is a type of student or is a type of employee, is a type of payslip, is a type of address, is a type of vehicle, is a type of car, something like that. You want to check what is the type of a reference variable, what is the type of object, you can say. Instance of operator is used to check what is the type of object or what is the type of reference variable. So instance of operator is used to test the object or is of a which type. That's it, simple. Okay. What is null mean in Java? Null is the default value for user defined data type. When a reference variable does not point to any value, it is assigned to null. See, reference variable does not point to any value, it is assigned to null. But I want to be more specific. Suppose I have defined one reference variable of int type, int x. So what will be the default value? What will be the what will be I have not assigned any value. I have declared I have declared int x is int x. That's it. Private or public int x. That's it. Termination. I have not defined, I have not given any value. What will be, what value it will point according to this statement. Value, when a reference variable does not point to any value, it is assigned to null. So if I give int x, it means it will give is equal to null? No, zero. So you can say that null is the default value for user defined data type, not for primitive data type. Non-primitive data type, you can say. Null is the default value for non-primitive data type. Okay. Can we have a multiple class in a single file? Yes, you can have. The answer is yes. That's it. How it can be? You can write a code and you can explain it. Okay. What all access modifiers are allowed for top level? Top level class, there is only one, that is a public. That's it. For top level class, access modifiers are allowed public and default also, but it will be accessible within that package only. Okay. If a class declared a default visible only in the same package, yes. What are packages in Java? What is packages in Java? What is package? Packages are you can say that it's a group of dot class files. Packages is a mechanism to group related classes, interfaces, enums. But anyway, if it is enum or interface or annotations, that will be only dot class file. So you can say that package is a group of dot class file, and that package is created based on the functionality. Different packages will be used. Suppose if it is a controller layer, then controller package, all the controller will be sitting in that package, all the repository will sit in another package, all the service will sit in another package, configuration related file will sit in another package, something like that. Okay. Can we have a more than one package statement in a same source file, in the source file? No. Package statement cannot be more than one, only one. We cannot have a more than one package statement. Okay. Can we define package statement after import statement? No. You can do that. You can't do that also. It should be first statement. Always remember, import statement can be after package statement. Package statement should be first only. Okay, package statement must be first only. What are identifiers in Java? What is identifier? Tell me. What is identifiers? Identifier is something who will identify. What is the? It is a variable. It's a method. It's something like that. Identifiers is nothing but the name in the Java program. Identifiers can be class name, method name, variable name, something like that. Identifier must be start with a letter, underscore, or dollar symbol. Identifier can't start with a number. Identifiers can't start with the number or identify there is no limit on number of characters in identifiers, but recommended to have more than 50 character. Recommended to not have more than 15, I think. Java identifiers are a case sensitive. Yeah. And first letter can be alphabet or underscore or dollar. From second letter, we can have a number have a numbers also. We should not use reserved word for identifier. Suppose I want to use void as a identifier, you can't use. If I want to use int, float, class, interface, these are the some reserved word keyword, you can say. You can't use that as an identifier. Okay. What are access modifiers in Java? How many access modifiers are there? What are access modifiers in Java? The important features of encapsulations is access control. By preventing the access control, we can use we can misuse of a class, method, or numbers like members. Suppose there are four types of access modifiers currently: public, private, protected, and the default. There are three types of access modifiers in Java. No, four are there: public, private, protected, and default. Default, you don't need to give anything. By default, it will be default. Okay, if no access modifier is specified, then it has a default access. It is a default modifier, you can say that. Okay. Uh, what is difference between access specifier and access modifier? In C++, we have an access specifier as a public, private, protected, and a default, and access modifier as a static. Access modifier as a static. Finally, but there is no such version of access specifier and access modifier in Java. In access, it is access modifier in Java only. In Java, we have access modifier and access modifier. Access modifier is this one: non-access modifier, abstract, final, and a strict. Okay. Fine. What access modifier can be used for class? Public. If it's a top level class, it's a public. We can use only two access modifier for class, public and a default. Default is by default, but it will be same package. Public. A class with the public modifier can be visible. So if it's a class is a public modifier, suppose one class is defined in a package. So if class access modifier is a public, so where it can be visible? It can be visible anywhere. Anywhere means it can be visible within the same package, in same package, in subclass, in same package, non subclass, everywhere you can see in different package, non subclass, in different package, subclass, something like that. Everywhere public is visible, you keep it in mind. And second one, if it is a private, then where it will be accessible? Within the class only, nowhere it will be accessible. If it is a default, then where it will be accessible? It will be accessible within the class only, with sorry, within the package only, in which whatever package you have defined in the class, that class will be accessible within that package only. You can't access that class outside the package. That is the meaning of default. If it is a protected, then it can be accessed outside the package, but in inheritance relationship only. Okay. Default is always in same package, now on subclass everywhere, but it will be accessible in same only. That's it. Explain what access modifier can be used for method. Anyone. We can use all access modifier. Any access modifier you can use. Method you can use a private. If it is a private within the class you can use. If it is a default within a package you can use. If it is a protected within the package and same a different package with inheritance relationship you can use. And if it is public, anyway you can access. No problem. Okay. Explain what access modifier can be used for variable. All, all you can use. Method, for method, constructor, or variables. You can use any access modifier. Okay. What is final access modifier in Java? See, final access modifier can be used to make class that cannot be, sorry, not a class, any uh, class or method or variables. If you want to make as a constant means you cannot change that one. If something you want to make permanent that should not be changed, in that case you have to use final keyword. So suppose if a final keyword is used as a class level, then what you can do? How will you change the class behavior? You will create a subclass. And you will inherit the existing class. In that case, what you are doing, trying to do, you are trying to modify the class. Is it a permitted? No. Why it is not permitted? Because you have used final keyword at the class level, so class cannot be inherited. Inheriting is nothing but, by inheriting, what you will do, you will change the modification, you will do some extra features, you will modify the existing behavior of a class. That's it. If you the final is placed at a method level, it means how will you modify the method behavior? By overriding. You cannot override the method if the method is a final. Similarly, class, final method, final variable. Final variable means you cannot modify that variable. Once it is initialized, it will be remain same. Explain about abstract class in Java. What is abstract class? What you consider? Abstract class is used to achieve the abstraction feature of object in Java, and it will be a mixture of like abstract class is a not 100% abstraction. It is a some percentage of abstraction, not 100. Suppose if you have defined one method, one concrete method, it means abstract abstractability will be reduced, like not full abstraction. Half of the implementation you provided, half of will be provided by subclass. So that is sometime we may come across a situation where we cannot provide implementation to all the methods. We want to leave the implementation to the class level who will extend it. In such case, we declare a class is an abstract, and to make a class abstract we can use keyword abstract. Okay. Can we create a constructor in an abstract class? What is the use of constructor? What is constructor? Constructor will be used to create the object. So if you created a constructor in your abstract class, is it permitted? You can do it. We can create a constructor in an abstract class, but it doesn't give any compilation error. But when we cannot instantiate a class, there is no use in creating a constructor in abstract class. You can do it. You can do it. It's up to your choice. If you want to give any constructor in the abstract class, you can give. But definitely that constructor you have to use in subclass only. Okay. What is abstract method? Abstract method, like the method without any implementation. There is no body for that method. Body implementation you have to provide in your subclass. Okay. Hmm. Exception handling. Some exception handling related questions. What is exception? Exception is an abnormal situation that interrupt the normal execution flow of program, and program will be terminated abnormally. So that is called exception. In Java, exception is an object. Exceptions are created when an abnormal situations are arised in our program. Exception can be created by JVM or by our application code also. And all exception classes are defined in Java.lang package. In other words, we can say that exception as a runtime error. Some of them are compile time also. Okay. Uh, State some situation where exception may be arised in Java. Index out of bound exception. Access element that is not existing array. Index out of bound exception. Dividing by zero. Hmm. Invalid casting to the class cast exception. Trying to create an object of an interface or abstract class, something like that. Hmm. What is exception handling in Java? So you can say that, but exception you understood, abnormal situation where code will be executed with error. Remaining statement will be unexecuted because wherever the exception arised, control will return from there to JVM, and the remaining statement will not be executed. That is exception. Now you have to handle that situation. So that is nothing but exception handling is nothing but it's a mechanism to handle the exception or to test the a program of code that will throw exception or not. If it is throwing exception, then do something different. Okay, exception handling is a uh, mechanism what to do when some abnormal situation arise in a program. When an exception is arise in a program, it leads to termination of a program when it is not handled properly. The significance of exception handling comes here in order to not to terminate a program abruptly and to continue the rest of the program normally. This can be done with the help of exception handling. Okay, what is error in Java? See, error is not an exception, but that will be some. It is a throwable type only. When error are cased by the program, we call it as an exception, but sometimes exceptions are cased due to some environment issue. Suppose out of memory, there is no memory. Programmatically it's not possible you can add memory or something like that. So some environment issue such as running out of memory. In such case, we cannot handle the exception. Exception which can be resolved are called which can't be resolved called errors in Java. Okay, like example is out of memory. Next, what are advantages of exception handling? What is advantages? The advantage is you can execute your program normally if exception also arised. That's the advantage. Separating normal code from exception handling code to avoid abnormal termination of a program. Categorizing the different type of exception so that rather than handling all exception, we can exception root class can we can handle the specific exception. It is recommended to handle the exception with specific exception instead of handling the exception root class. Okay, call statement mechanism. If a method throw an exception and it is not handled immediately, then the exception is propagated or thrown to the caller of method. This propagation continue till they find the appropriate exception handler. If the handler, it would be handled. Otherwise, program terminate abruptly. Okay. In how many ways we can do exception handling in Java? We can handle exception either in two ways, using try catch block, or we will throw that exception while declaring the method level exception. That's it, declaring a method with the throws clause. Okay, list out five keyword related to exception: try, catch, throw, throws, finally. Hmm. Explain try and catch keyword in Java. Try block will be used to test the statements, whether the statements will throw exception or not. And catch block will be used to handle the exception. Like when the exception came, what you want to do? You write those statement in the catch block. Okay. Yeah. In try block, will define all the exception caged root, caching root. In Java, try and cache forms a unit. A try block has the exception throw by preceding try block. Cache block cannot catch an exception through by another try. Okay. Okay, leave it. Can we have a try block without cache? Yes, but you have to give finally that case. Either try block required at least one cache block or finally block. A try block without cache or finally will result a compilation error, and we can skip either the cache block or finally block. But any one of them is required. Can we have a multiple cache block for a try block? Yes. The question is yes. You can have it. You can have it. Explain importance of finally block. Just generally, we are using to close the resources. Some resources you are opening in try block. Might be you are closing that resource in try block. In that case it's okay. But exception came, you didn't get the chance to close that resources in try block. Then the same line of code you are writing in the cache block also. So definitely it will be closed in the cache block. So what will happen in that case? Repeating your code, better you keep in the final block. Okay, fine. Can we have any code between try and catch block? No, you can't have. You can't have. Can we have any code between try and finally blocks? Can we have any code between try and finally block? No, you cannot have that also. Can we catch more than one exception in a single cache? Yes. From Java 7, it is a possible. You can do it. In Java 7, we can cache more than one exception with a single cache block. This type of exception handling reduce the code duplications. Okay, but that should be in some inheritance relationship, I think. Mhm. When a cache block more than one exception in a single cache block is implemented finally. Okay. Next, what are checked exceptions? See, exception of two types: checked exception, unchecked exception. Checked exception are called checked exception called compile time exception. Unchecked exception called runtime exception. So runtime exception will when the program is running it will come. But checked exception compiler will warn you at the time of writing code. It will warn you this method is throwing exception. What you want to do? Either you want to throw the exception or you want to handle the exception. You do accordingly. So that is a checked exception. Means compiler will warn all the subclass of throwable class exception, runtime exception, and its a subclass is a checked exception. Checked exception should be thrown with the keyword throw or should be provided try catch block, as the program would not compile it. Hmm. Input output exception, SQL exception, file not found exception, invocation target exception, clone not support exception, class not found exception, instantiation exception. Some of them examples are given. What is unchecked exception? And the runtime exception, like index array out of bound exception, class cast exception, array index out of bound exception, index out of bound exception, null pointer exception, number format exception, string index out of bound exception, unsupported operation exception, something like that. Means compiler will not warn and compiler will not force you to either handle or throw. It, it's up to your choice. It will come at a runtime. You have to do it. Okay. Explain difference between checked and unchecked exception. See, unchecked exception, all subclass, unchecked exception, all the classes are subtype of runtime exception. That is unchecked. Checked exception, all the classes are of type exception. It's a subclass of exception only. And unchecked exception need not to be handled at the compilation time, but checked exception has to be handled or thrown. array index exception. Some of the examples. Okay. What is default exception handling in Java? Oh, what is default handling? See, default when JVM detects exception casing root, it constructs a new exception handling object by including the following information like name of exception, description, and location of exception. By default, your JVM will do. If you are not providing any handler, then your JVM will create one exception object with this following information like name of exception, description, and location. And it will, after creating JVM checks whether there is exception handler code or not. If there is handler code, JVM will give the responsibility to execute the handler by default handler and terminate the program. By default, exception handler display description, print status and location of exception and terminate the program. Okay, that's it. So this is these are the some important question about Java. I think it's a little bit less. We'll try to add some more in that, and we will grab some new questions for Java, and we will conduct 1, 2, 3 sessions, as many required. We will try to complete as many as questions are possible. Okay, so this is this much for these sessions only. We'll see you in the next session. Thank you. Have a nice day.